G'day everyone, hope you're well. So finally I've gotten myself Airfix's 148 Avro Anson Mark 1. Now this kit came out last year, 22. It is now June here in Australia, and this kit has only been available, to my best of my knowledge, I deal through probably the two biggest online retailers in Australia, and it's only been out here a couple of weeks, which is ridiculous. I don't know what the problem is, if it's the Australian shops are slack to import it, or Airfix hold back onto who they export the kits to. But yeah, I think this is like 6 months or so now, or more, that this kit came out, and to wait this long is, I just think it's ridiculous. But anyway, let's have a look at it. So there's 3 schemes out of box. One of them is Royal Australian Air Force, which I love to see in boxings. And not only that, this scheme is from Lowood, which is about 15 minutes down the road from me. However, I'll show you later when I put the video. I'm looking at doing another Royal Australian Air Force scheme. So I have not opened this yet. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Airfix finally bagging clear parts separate. All right. So Airfix don't do the sprue map. Let's grab that out. All right. Back to the beginning. So we're starting with the cockpit, or the floor section of the interior floor, as there's a lot of glass or clear parts in this aircraft. Wing spar, framework, tube framework in the interior. We're into the yokes, navigators table. It looks like we get a little decal for a map or something. Instrument panel controls, as you would expect. There's quite a lot of the instructions will be the interior. Alright, so we got options. Let me go back. Forward. Step 30. So I'm guessing if you want to mount the machine gun, is that what they're suggesting? Yeah. So if you want a machine gun in, you got to drill the holes for it. So we're giving you heads up of alignment when you're putting the fuselage halves into the interior section. So a bit of a heads up on problems that may come your way. Some lights, navigation lights on the belly. Bit of port glass in the nose. Same again, before we were talking about the port fuselage half going on, same, looking out for the same problems when you're putting the right side on, and then you're putting the spine on the back. and the belly plate, and you're onto the control surfaces. So looks like we got posable control surfaces on the tail. And we're into the, what do we got here? Our engine mounts and undercarriage. Airfix have come along good in the last several years with their instructions, with the highlighted parts of previous steps, so you know where you're at. Then we're on to the engines, engine cowling, and towards the end we're putting the rudder on. This is going to be the make or break of this kit on how good these clear parts fit, because the aircraft is together. You want a good fit when these go in. And I try not to look at people's builds. If I'm going to build something, I don't really want to see how they're going about it. I want my own experience. And the wheels and the landing gear. And tail wheel, and we got some antenna, small parts going on. And then the propellers. And our rear gun. So at the end of it, we're at 108 steps. Alright. Decals is usually, I don't ever really have any issues with Airfix's decals. Extremely large, so you want to make sure you get a nice glossy surface and nothing underneath when you put it down. Just use your softener and microsol. Usually works alright on Airfix decals or these ones. I'm not doing that, but if I was, I'd use this for the bigger ones to get them to set down quicker. But they're nice colour, all in register, and very limited carrier film. In the past, you probably would have got that whole piece would have been carrier film. Now it's only just in between the top of the P there, so that's progress. And then we got our call outs for the schemes. Obviously Airfix is Humbrol, so their call outs are in Humbrol paints. I use a model paint app, my phone, to convert. It does not just that brand, but heaps of brands where applicable. That's a nice scheme now, like the yellow underside with the camo. We got the box art. Excuse me, frog in the throat. Yep, so the silver belly and camo top. And the last one, which is the one that was based down the road from me in 1943. I really like the scheme. Excuse me. I wouldn't mind doing that, but I'm just gonna go a bit of aftermarket for something different. But I'll insert some pictures somewhere along through the video to show which scheme I'm talking about. Actually, before I do that, they're the clear parts. Alright. Bit of dust. They're really nice. Nice and clear. What we got there? That's a scratch or a... If you can see that there's a bit of a mark in that center windscreen panel there. That might polish out alright. But otherwise, very nice. Turret glass, nice and fine. I don't mind masking up clear parts with Tamiya tape, but this is probably a good one to buy a mask set for, because it's got a lot of windows happening. Alright, now I'll move on to the grey styrene. Alright, so we got engine cowls, the wheels. I've got weight on wheel molded into them. Framework. And we got the exhaust and the engines. If that shows up, there you got a bit of a texture for the cloth over the control surfaces, which is a nice touch. We got some of the framework inside, cockpit, radio boxes, controls, machine guns, and we got some part of the engine cowl. Really nice, no issues there. Get out the way. Alright. Okay, so we got obviously that is the fuselage, and now tail section. Again, you got the texture of the cloth fabric. Okay, inside now, hopefully we're not seeing this from the outside because it's full of injection pin marks. So it looks, you actually may see that through the window, so if that's the case, that's going to be a bit of work cleaning that up, especially with the, you got the ribbing on the either side of the injection pin marks. That'll be hard to get at. We got the ribbing texture on the rear end, so that's all nice except for all those ejection pin marks. The framework for the tube steel or aluminium on the interior. I got that's the belly plate, and the wings, nice details in the wings. You got the obviously we're not having, Airfix don't do riveting details full on. Again, we got, I don't know if that's showing up, but you got a textured in the wings. They call it oil canning or something. Right, last bag. Let's should be a double up, and be the engines. So we got more engine cows, so there might be two different versions, I'm not sure, because there was some earlier on. The engines, they're pretty basic, but I'm sure there'll be aftermarket if you want to detail up, and the propellers. Overall, pretty solid, pretty much typical recent Airfix, solid, not over the top, but a respectable build, hopefully. So I was talking about those ejection pin marks with all this clear parts, you can see right into that interior. So like I said, they may be an issue that need cleaning up, but I'll find that out when I do the build. I'm going to add some photos at the end, close-ups of the parts. Thank you for watching.